toward the One, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of guidance. Dear friends of the Sufi message, it gives me very great pleasure to greet you on this special day, the eve of Hijrat Day, marking the conclusion of a century of Sufism in the West and the commencement of a new Sufi century. The teacher of Hazrat Inayat Khan was Sayyid Abu Hashim Madani. Sayyid Abu Hashim Madani trained Hazrat Inayat Khan in the traditions of the Chishtiya, the Sarwardiya, the Qadariya, and the Naqshbandiya. And at the end of his training, he initiated him as Sheikh, Sufi master, and also qualified him as Akhi, master of Futua, master of chivalry. And then Sayyid Abu Hashim Madani gave Hazrat Inayat Khan his blessing, saying these words: "Fare forth into the world, my child, and harmonize east and west with the harmony of thy music. Spread the wisdom of Sufism abroad, for to this end art thou gifted by Allah, the most merciful and compassionate." And so, on September 13th, 1910, Hazrat Inayat Khan, together with his brother Mahbub Khan and his cousin Ali Khan, set out from Baroda on his journey to the West. And over the next 16 years, Murshid traveled, sang, taught, wrote, and generated a movement, the first Occidental Sufi movement. He worked tirelessly and with tremendous inspiration to promote the cultural and religious reconciliation of disparate peoples of the world and to foster spiritual awakening. At the end of his long sojourn in the West, as he was preparing to return to his beloved homeland, India, he unveiled a deep wish. It was a wish for the creation of a temple that he envisioned as a gathering place, a place of prayer and meditation for people of all faiths and those of no particular faith. He called this temple the Universal, from the roots uni, one, and versus, toward the one. And on September 13th, 1926, here in Suren, he consecrated the cornerstone of the temple that he wished that those who surrounded him would build, the Universal, giving it his blessing. But the temple was not only to be built in stone. He said this: "We have come together, brought together by destiny in friendship, in sympathy, in love, and this must have a special meaning. And that special meaning is that we are constructing something. We are building something in the air. And this building is not a building for a certain time. This building is built for centuries to come. This is where God's message will be treasured, a temple in which the future generations will find what they seek. And how is it designed? And how is it constructed? It is designed by the hand of God, and it is to be constructed by our thoughts of harmony, of love, of beauty. It is our thoughts and our feelings which will serve in this temple as stones and bricks and tiles, and it is our feeling which will hold this temple for centuries to come. This was Hazrat Inayat Khan's last act in the West before returning to India, whence he returned to his Creator. The vision of the universal is the vision of a universal temple, a spiritual edifice built of thoughts of love, harmony, and beauty. And it is also the vision of temples of stone built on earth to accommodate people of all faiths who seek to gather irrespective of differences of creed to remember the unity of being. It was in this spirit that this universal temple here in Suren, which you may see just behind me, was ultimately built. And in the same spirit, temples on the same model have been built in Holland, in North America, and in South America. On that special day, September 13th, 1926, in the midst of the ceremony in which Hazrat Inayat Khan consecrated the cornerstone, he initiated my father, Pir Zia Inayat, as the head of a new activity called the Confraternity of the Sufi Message. And the work of the confraternity, the work of those who are ordained and enter the confraternity, is to say the prayers that Murshid has given every day. And through these prayers to build the universal in thought and in feeling. And at the same time, Murshid established another line. He ordained 8 heralds, naqibs, and 4 knights of purity, as he called them, Sahaba as-Safa. All 4 of these knights of purity were women. And thus, on September 13th, 1926, Murshid established 2 orders of the universal, an order of prayer, a hieratic order, and an order of chivalry, a knightly order, made up of heralds and knights. It was Hazrat Inayat Khan's own daughter, his eldest child, Pir Zia Inayat Khan, who was to become the paragon of the chivalry of the Sufi message. Following the Nazi conquest of France, as she and her family withdrew to Great Britain, she volunteered for wartime service and was trained as a wireless operator. And in 1943, under cover of night, she was flown in, parachuted in to occupied France, she joined a circle of agents transmitting information to the Allies. This circle of agents was quickly apprehended, and she found herself alone. She was urged to return, and yet she declined, insisting that she must stay, now that she was the last essential link of information between the underground, the resistance in Paris, and the Allies in London. And so, in a situation that was desperately dangerous, she valiantly persevered. But she was betrayed. She was seized. She was imprisoned. She was brutally interrogated. She was tortured. And as brutally as she was tortured, she never revealed any of her secrets. Finally, she was taken to Dachau, the concentration camp. And on September 13th, on Hejrat Day, 1944, she was shot, her body thrown in the oven. And her last word was liberté, freedom. In her unflinching valor, she fulfilled with exquisite grace her grandfather's message of spiritual liberty, and brought that message right into the thick of life's battle. She was posthumously awarded the George Cross and the Croix de Guerre. And the news has just come from Shrabani Basu, the author of Spy Princess, that permission has just been granted for a bust of Nur-e-Nisa, a statue, to be installed at Gordon Square, the place of the original Sufi Khanqa in London. And this will be the first memorial honoring an Asian woman in Great Britain. In honor of Nur-e-Nisa, I penned these lines today. She serves the cause of truth to the last. She will never tell a lie. She will never break her given word. Such a soul would rather die. When she sees injustice, her heart bleeds. Forthwith she stands to fight. Compassion's flame blazes in her breast. Angels bow down in its light. Anger cannot overmaster her. She sheathes her sword at its sign. No living soul is her enemy. Peace is her only design. She is the mirror of chivalry for all who follow the way. The battle may be terrible, but justice will win the day. In honor of Nur-e-Nisa, great Sufi martyr, our inspiration, our flower of chivalry. My uncle, Sheikh al-Mashaykh Mahmud Khan, whose mother was one of the first original Knights of Purity, the Sahaba as-Safa. Sheikh al-Mashaykh Mahmud Khan and I have the honor to announce that we are reviving the chivalric line established by Hazrat Inayat Khan in 1926 in the form of an order of knighthood. The name of the order shall be the Knighthood of Purity of the Hazratiya Order, Futuwati Safwa-i Silsilai Hazratiya. And this is the description of the knighthood. The knighthood is composed of 2 degrees, Herald and Knight of Purity. All who are inspired by the Sufi message of Hazrat Inayat Khan and sincerely committed to enacting its ideals are eligible to receive the ordination of Herald, Naqib or Naqiba. Ordination is by application to the Chancellery. Upon ordination, the herald commences his or her task. The task is to recite the iron, copper, silver, and golden rules, and to apply their morals in daily life. Each rule is recited once a day, in the morning, over a 40-day period. The completion of one set of rules thus takes 400 days. The completion of all 4 sets takes 600 days, 4 years and 140 days. Heralds are asked to notify the Chancellery upon the completion of the task. Upon completion of the entire task, the herald is qualified to receive the accolade of Knight of Purity, Sahaba as-Safa or Sahaba as-Safa. Initially, Sheikh al-Mashaykh Mahmud Khan and myself will be solely responsible for giving the accolade. Subsequently, ordained knights will be authorized to give the accolade. These are the rules. The iron rules. My conscientious self, make no false claims. Speak not against others in their absence. Do not take advantage of a person's ignorance. Do not boast of your good deeds. Do not claim that which belongs to another. Do not reproach others, making them firm in their faults. Do not spare yourself in the work which you must accomplish. Render your services faithfully to all who require them. Seek not profit by putting someone in straits. Harm no one for your own benefit. The copper rules. My conscientious self. Consider your responsibility sacred. Be polite to all. Do nothing which will make your conscience feel guilty. Extend your help willingly to those in need. Do not look down upon the one who looks up to you. Judge not another by your own law. Bear no malice against your worst enemy. Influence no one to do wrong. Be prejudiced against no one. Prove trustworthy in all your dealings. And the silver rules. My conscientious self. Consider duty as sacred as religion. Use tact on all occasions. Place people rightly in your estimation. Be no more to anyone than you are expected to be. Have regard for the feelings of every soul. Do not challenge anyone who is not your equal. Do not make a show of your generosity. Do not ask a favor of those who will not grant it you. Meet your shortcomings with a sword of self-respect. Let not your spirit be humbled in adversity. And the golden rules. My conscientious self. Keep to your principles in prosperity as well as in adversity. Be firm in faith through life's tests and trials. Guard the secret of friends as your most sacred trust. Observe constancy in love. Break not your word of honor, whatever may befall. Meet the world with smiles in all conditions of life. When you possess something, think of the one who does not possess it. Uphold your honor at any cost. Hold your ideal high in all circumstances. Do not neglect those who depend upon you. Dear friends, from the bottom of my heart, I wish you peace, joy, prosperity, good health, fulfillment, and illumination on this special day, the 100th anniversary of the journey of our Murshid, and on every day. O thou, who art the maker, moulder, and builder of the universe, build with thine own hands the universal, our temple, for thy divine message of love, harmony, and beauty.